Heard of that song? Oh no. All the people.
These are just mere moments of our journey through Vietnam. But how did we get here in the first place? Let's run it back. Back farther. There we go.
How do you feel about the trip so far? I mean, like, the trip hasn't started yet, but are you anxious? Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, Zach, no, I'm just joking. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about the trip. So far, most of the stress has come from preparing and less from the actual flight itself. TSA was pretty easy. We went pretty much straight through. Quinn got stopped for a little bit, but that's not much of an issue. It was quick, 5 minutes. The gate was right near the exit to TSA, so it wasn't much of a hike, and we have an extra an hour and 30 minutes before the flight. So
you hyped for the flight? Excited?
Hyped for the flight. I would not use those exact words. We're going to be sitting in a plane for 19 hours? 19, let's go with 19. That's going to be painful, especially because we're going to have breaks in between 7 and 9 hours respectively. Maybe got those backwards. What? Yay, I love airport touring. Yeah. Who needs to go to Vietnam when you can just look at the airport?
4-letter word.
4-letter word for a historical tale. We were thinking math, but that's not really
That's not historical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't both be it?
20-minute
What?
20-minute shout.
That's what I was thinking, but...
All right, Quinn. So I want to ask you as a teacher, how do you feel you're able to wrangle all of us rowdy high schoolers?
Well, I didn't pick the exact rowdiest of the bunch. You did all apply, and we picked everybody based on your responsibility and your experience. So I think I know you well enough to know what this crew can and can't handle, and I'm trying to stay within those limits, fairly. I think this is going to be a tricky, like a highly challenging trip. Southeast Asia, I think, is where a lot of people experience worse culture shock than maybe other places. We have a lot of different experience levels. So I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunity for growth, a lot of places to learn and challenge ourselves. So that's going to make things more difficult, but that's why we do these trips. We have a long way to go, and it's going to take some time to make that happen. We've got some pretty tedious layovers, but everything's going to go smoothly. I don't really see anything that's going to get in our way. Our layovers aren't going to rush us. We got through security fine here and out to our gate with plenty of time to spare, and I think the rest of the trip's going to go that way too. But the students are all a little bit sleep deprived. We're going to have time zone shifts to deal with.
All right, hi, I am Maya Tarnow. I am a former exploration student. I graduated from explorations in 2017, and I am one of the trip leads on the Vietnam International Expedition this year. I will be teaching tropical ecology, and I did that as well on the Columbia trip in 2023. And then this year, I am also working on my own capstone project because I am a senior at Southern Oregon University, getting my bachelor's degree in outdoor adventure leadership and sustainability tourism. And so I'm incorporating my capstone into this international expedition as well. So my capstone project, my thesis, is investigating the influence of outdoor education on the development of youth. And so with that, I'm just going to be asking for you guys to help me out by keeping track of some journal entries. I'll incorporate some prompted journal entries, as well as just let you guys free journal as you wish, covering aspects like physical health, social connections, cultural ties, academic performance, environmental stewardship, and emotional well-being, things like that.
it doesn't quite feel real yet, you know? Haven't done anything this far away from home in, well, ever. So I can't really put it into words right now. But yeah, I'm really excited though.
I don't know, like Octavius, I guess it hasn't really set in yet, although I am more used to this kind of stuff.
And I know, yeah, part of your capstone is going to be like influenced with the Vietnam trip. So like, can you tell me a little bit about your capstone?
That section is going to be the more kind of like theory-based, section, where I'm talking about like food and culture and like how they shape each other. Mainly focusing on the US, but especially using Vietnam as like a reference point for how it can be different. And from there I'm gonna make my cookbook, do some actual cooking. This is just kind of like to step back and just like get some perspective on how this kind of shapes humans, and especially Americans.
So Damascus, I know this is your first flight ever, right? And your first international flight as well.
Well, when I first entered the airport, I was kind of shaking because I was excited, which I don't do. I don't shake when I'm excited, but I was.
Are you anxious? Like, how are you feeling about this?
I'm not anxious. My main nervousness was the airport, so now that that's done, you know.
I'm gonna ask you about this. How do you feel about like group dynamics?
I will say this about the group. In Colombia, I felt completely disconnected from the group because everyone was friends with everyone else before I got on the trip. And I just kind of felt alienated. And I feel like this group is bonding really well and I'm included. And that feels a lot better to me because I like being included in things, especially when we're spending a month together in another country. And it feels kind of like a relief that we have good group dynamics, you know, aside from the brotherly fighting and whatever. We're all feeling all the feelings because of the heightened anxiety of traveling and just we have no sleep.
And what are you expecting out of the trip? How do you expect to be able to adjust? What do you think is going to be hard?
I think language barrier mostly. Like language barrier is going to be it's not going to be the best thing. I'm hoping for good food. I'm expecting good food.
So guys, welcome to my vlog. We just finished getting off our flight from Seattle to San Francisco. We're right now in the international terminal entrance for San Francisco Airport. Right now we are sitting outside of the Starlux terminal, waiting for them to open, or not terminal, Starlux ticket checking system, people, waiting for them to open.
All was going well, but something happened that we couldn't have predicted. Our visas were messed up. I say our when I mean me, Lath, and Nate's. Somehow they got messed up on the website, so we have to reapply for them. I didn't have to do that. All I had to do was pay $25, which they never asked me for in the end, so new visas. But luckily, a guy named Alex helped us up a bunch. He was able to get us reduced rates for these visas and able to help us out. So Alex, if you're watching this, thank you. You helped us so much. We were to hop on our flight.
Okay, we are in the the first floor of the Taipei airport, or I don't know if there's another name for it, forgot. We arrived about 4 or 5 hours ago. 4 hours ago, I think. We are currently trying to get some rest while I am disturbing all of them by talking anyway. This is Noah. This is everyone else. So, it looks like this. Well, Leif logging off and probably reading a little more before we go grab some for second breakfast, lunch, kind of, in the airport, upstairs at the where all the food is. I think it's gonna be soup. Let's see if I can get a video of us eating. Bye. Let's see. Bye.
And after all that, we headed off on our next flight, which was only 4 hours. It was quite nice. Which would finally land us in Vietnam. Welcome to Vietnam. We had finally landed and were eager to get some downtime. We were picked up by Bacchus and headed over to our Airbnb to drop off our luggage. We were very hungry, so we left to eat. On the walk over, we saw a giant cathedral. Bacchus took us to eat one of his favorite Vietnamese foods, bún chả, which those who've joined us for the community meal are trying. Bún chả is one of the best foods that I've ever had in Vietnam, and this restaurant was actually a Michelin star. After dinner, we walked around and went to a large lake, which was very beautiful at night.
Dinner today was amazing. Like, holy crap.
And after that long day, we went to sleep for the next day of our journey.
We started by going to the lake, and then at the lake we ate some banh mi. Noah was ambushed by a wild pack of English language students, and they were very nice. And they talked to Noah about stuff. I also learned that Instagram is very big at the Temple of Literature.
The Temple of Literature, as Leith said, has a lot of people going in for Instagram, but there are many cool sites, and we had a great time. We also went to a restaurant that was just on the street, and they just served us bún chả. It was so good. Next, we went to the Hanoi Hilton. Unlike the name, it actually was a prison, and the Hanoi Hilton was a name made by American POWs. It roughly translates to hellhole in the English, and it was a terrible place where they still use guillotines. It had so many inmates, and what you're seeing here is only a glimpse of what they had to suffer. Overall, it was a very sobering experience, and gives us some insight into how Vietnam has been under French rule for quite a long time. After the museum, we decided it was time to get our haircuts. We had planned this a while before, so we all hadn't had our haircut in a while. All of us, excluding Leith and Noah and Maya and Bacchus, went to a haircut place, just a place on the side of the road. It was very small, couldn't really fit all of us, but we all got some really fresh cuts, and they were really pretty good actually. Damascus hasn't had his haircut in a long time, since 7th grade I believe, and Nate needed one too, so this was a haircut group. Of course I filmed all of it because I'm filming. They actually bundled up Damascus's hair and saved it. I think they're probably going to sell it or hopefully donate it, but yeah. And I got my haircut, as you can see. And they also getting trimmed up there as well. And at the end, well, at least Damascus looked like this. It was time to bring our long trek to Phong Nha. We left Hanoi and got an overnight bus for like 11 hours. Once we got there, we walked around and came up on our homestay, and when we woke up in the morning, there was such a beautiful view because it was dark when we got there and it was just beautiful. We got some breakfast and just explored the area. Found a dog, very cute dog. Massa started petting it. We also met this lady who kept writing in my notebook. It was very interesting. And right along the river, it was so good. We took a walk out to another cave and just basked in the glory of just this beautiful countryside. We'd been in the city for so long at this point that we didn't really know what the countryside of Vietnam looked like.
Octavius, how do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself. I'll have to see myself through a mirror in 5 years because I don't think I'll have like eyeballs that I'll be able to know.
Here's Bacchus playing with the dog. This dog was right in the area of our homestay. We went to Jungle Boss, which is a company that tours these caves. We went to Tiger Cave, and we met Bien. Bien was our guide through the entire thing. He was very cool. There's him now. The trek was arduous because Lath and I kept slipping in the mud, but there was a swim at the end, which was great.
So how did you enjoy the swimming over to this cave area?
It's pretty enjoyable. The water was a lot warmer than I would have expected because I'm used to swimming in Bellingham, and the water is cold unless you go to a public swimming pool. And even though this wasn't as warm as one, it was just a lot warmer than I would have ever expected.
And I mean, the view from this cave is just amazing, right?
Yeah, the view is absolutely amazing. We basically are in a sinkhole right now, so it's all sand down here, and you have this big ring around you that you're enclosed in. So
I figured it was lace raft.
It's just truly magnificent. You'd probably have to be here to actually see the view for what it is.
And on the, what was it called again? What we just did?
Oh, the Blaine?
Yeah. How was that?
I thought it was really fun. Of course, it's probably the scariest part for most people is just leaning back over the edge and having to step down to rocks that you can't really see, and you have to feel your way through it. But once you're right over the edge and you're climb down to a point where your feet can dangle, you feel secure because everything is being pulled taut around you, and your gut just feels your gut instinct makes you feel a lot safer when you're off the edge.
You feel stable?
Yeah, you feel stable once you go over.
After the lesson, we packed up and got ready to go to our next campsite. It's a long trek, so I'll just leave you with a montage. And with that, we are now at the halfway point. We are almost to our campsite, but we had to trek through a really, really, really large cave. And that cave was really cool.
All right, guys, how was rappelling? Was it challenging? Any thoughts?
It was easier. It was way easier than the other rappelling.
It was very exciting. I agree, though. Much easier than this morning.
I have no clue why they gave you the stop when you don't use it at all. Like
A little fun time.
They let you test it out.
It was a fun time. I think
How about the rest of the caves, though?
the walk down to the rappel was scarier than the rappel itself.
What about the rest of the caves?
Huge.
Huge, yes. Very huge. Can't really describe it in words, but huge. You know what I'm talking about. Think huge, now bigger.
Now multiply that by 100.
Yeah. When we were in the other cave, I'm like, wow, this is a really large cave. And then we were told that there's going to be a bigger cave. I'm like, oh. I thought that was the bigger one.
Oh, we show how it's bigger. Okay, look, someone trying. Oh,
Party mode.
It's too much.
Oh, okay. Can you do this? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Borrow this. Oh, there he goes.
Yeah.
Have any thoughts, Leigh?
I'm gonna go swimming and I'm gonna love it.
Okay.
Yep. Good. Feet high. Feet high. The higher your feet are, the better your grip is.
Stop.
Yes.
The more leverage you have pushing into it. Get 2 more of those so you can get your foot onto the ground. Which sounds odd. I want you to feel like you're
There you go. Smooth.
Okay, so Damascus.
Yeah.
How was today?
It was good. It was better than the first day of caving, definitely. But I did have to rappel twice, and that was torture.
Scared of rappelling or something?
I'm scared of heights, and the rappelling is just an extension of that. I have to trust someone else with control over my gravity, and
You couldn't just
hate it.
You wanted to hold on stuff like that.
I was holding on to the other rope so tight, not the belay. I was holding on to it so tight that my fingers were hurting a lot because they were grinding up against the rope.
I would say that was pretty difficult. I mean, this was the most difficult day in terms of technicality, but I thought it was the most fun.
Yep.
Personally.
Same.
Just because.
Except for the rappelling, that was the worst.
What did you like best about today?
What about like best? Just seeing cool caves. They're very cool. And I'm very cold.
I'll let you go to bed then.
Okay.
Good night.
No.
And with that, we got on a bus and went back to our homestay.
No one?
What question you ask them?
I want to ask their names.
The name.
Yeah, name.
What's your name?
No one wants to.
You are the one who learned Vietnamese language?
A little bit. Not. I can't. Yeah. It's on voice canceling, noise canceling, so everyone you can hear everything.
If it's blue and yours.
Good. I'm good.
How are you? It's back.
Oh, how old?
Yeah, how old?
18.
18.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna scratch it.
Mày ngủ đây. Học lớp mấy? Học lớp mấy? Do you like Vietnam? Do you like Vietnam? Volleyball is trained with their teachers and schools.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
A real game?
Yeah, game. Yeah.
Okay.
Game here. The
All right.
team, the teachers team, and then we have the TED party here in the school tomorrow for the teacher.
A teacher TED party?
We will be here to do the work here. We will have them cleaning the yard here, and then we will see how they do the TED here.
Oh, good.
Tomorrow.
So there's no students here tomorrow,
No
but still,
student, but all the teachers.
all the teachers.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah. And the teachers have I think we'll have them our garden somewhere.
All right. Because you've set up a lot of flowers.
Okay, Noah. So we've been in Hanoi for a few days, and I just want to know what was your favorite things you've done and any highlights about this trip, part of the trip.
Favorite things we've done. I liked wandering around the old city. It was really beautiful. I like seeing the combination of French and Vietnamese architecture, like kind of all rolled into a whole culture. That was definitely a highlight, and also one of the only things we ever did. Favorite parts were I liked meeting new friends at the volunteering thing. Particularly Ash made me think about home a lot. They remind me of Ollie and the good parts about Ollie. Yeah, they were very sweet and very funny, and I really liked them. And we talked about things that I don't get to talk to people from other cultures about, like self-harm and being trans and like things that only a proficient English speaker would know about, and I was very impressed with them. And I also really liked the food. There were many special foods to this place, like Cao Lao, Mi Quang, and this particular fried spring roll that I had at one restaurant that was wrapped in like, I don't know, crumbly rice paper, like so crumbly that it was like a croissant, like thin and crumbly and stringy and just beautiful. That was definitely my favorite food I had here. And then, yeah, I liked walking into that other part of town that's just a little past Old Town, where we exited Old Town and came out onto a city street. And that's like gonna be stuck in my mind forever. It was very beautiful. And then the banh mi was delicious, very spicy, but delicious. And then the ice cream was awesome. And most people went back for 4 scoops.
So I really enjoyed the night markets and just kind of like how lively and bright it felt. All the lanterns and people, both locals and tourists everywhere. Very cool. I'm getting a suit. It was great. I don't have a suit before this, so now I got a pretty nice, well-fitted one.
Hoi An, Nate's fan club, obviously.
That was awesome. It was much the same in Colombia. Sorry.
Yeah, heartbreaker over here. Boat, yeah. Mr. Boatman. Favorite thing, Hoi An. Yeah, that was it. I don't know. The people we met along the way.
Get loaded.
Actually, the next day after this, something really cool happened. We were invited to this Tet party, and we were invited to the swim coach's place to celebrate Tet, and it was really cool. Such amazing food, so many good conversations, and overall the atmosphere was super jovial and it was amazing. It was really cool being able to experience a custom that we didn't have in the US. Overall, it was a really cool experience, and I really enjoyed it. I think everyone in the Vietnam group would agree. This is by far one of my favorite experiences in Vietnam. We were also invited to Chia's headquarters. Chia is the group that brought us to the school to plant trees, and it was a really good experience. Chia is an organization that helps kids with disabilities and those who can't afford to go to school.
Different tribe with different like lesson plan because some can write by themselves, but some cannot.
The woman speaking here is Zung. She's essentially the manager of this Chia branch and helped us a lot and was super nice.
To acknowledge the work we do during the past year and to wish us a new year coming with good luck, good health, and continue to support for their communities in the coming year. Yeah, so different district level they bring. And from now to the end of the lunar year, we still continue to receive sun here and the children's out in the community. Tomorrow we will have 100 parcels of baby for 100 children in this area.
We're now on a plane. This plane is going to take us to Saigon, or more commonly known as Ho Chi Minh City, at least to the States. We flew on Vietnam Airlines, which was an interesting experience flying domestically. And you can get a beautiful view from the city up here as we're landing in Saigon. This leg of the trip we stayed at a hostel, which had a bunch of bunks instead of hotel rooms. It was so hot that many of us decided to sleep on beanbags.
War crimes committed using weapons we gained.
What you're seeing here are imprisonment camps for Vietnamese prisoners of war. Here's where I stopped recording. The entire museum hit harder than I was expecting. On the outside, there are a multitude of tanks, aircraft, and military equipment, but only when you go inside, it reveals the bitter truth of what those weapons of war were used for. There was an exhibit about a cart that told the story of a man who had to carry his daughter's corpse back home with that same cart. It was a harrowing experience, but a good one that many Americans don't get to have, and it really goes to show how an exhibit can impact a person. After the museum, we went to eat some dinner. We went to this place in the heart of Saigon, which was a large enclosed market, It was very cool. The food we had was very good, and they made a lot just. I later learned these cherry blossoms were not real. Those of us who had to work on our projects, we decided our projects. Me and Nate working on our Caesar projects in here. It was a beautiful place. And Highlands coffee is literally everywhere in Vietnam.
We're currently headed to Cantu, which is most famous for the floating market, and I think it's going to be amazing. Though I'm not the one making a write-up on it. Yeah, currently on the bus to go there. Hopefully gonna have a good time.
Here's where we're being brought to make these rice paper rice noodles, but currently we're making rice paper. And basically we're spreading it down, and it's a very cool process.
Well, for the resort, it's a weird place to be, considering it's oddly empty during the day, but at night, there's oddly more people. Probably they come from other nearby resorts. Overall, it's pretty much just a regular resort, kind of like Epcot, with their different locations. Very empty, with like more than half the stores closed. The beach is nice. The first tropical beach I've been on. Real nice sands. There's no rocks in them, like in Bellingham, where it's nothing but rocks. And it's a really, really gradual slope out into the water. So you can go out real far and still touch the bottom real easily.
Now that we're leaving, and within the next hour to go to the airport, what was your favorite experience or thing that we did in Vietnam over this entire trip?
But I feel like the single funnest experience, a true highlight of this trip was the caving tour. because that was really fun. Meals were good. The caves were absolutely massive. We were able to belayed down a section of cave as well, and we did all these things that you can't really do in Bellingham or possibly even Washington, because I can't think of any caves just that large.
All good things must come to an end, and we started making our journey home.
And so it would actually be beneficial to the ecosystem because we've also hunted and decreased the population of predators.
A great thing that happened though, Lath and Noah got their haircuts. They hadn't been able to get one the entire trip, so they finally got theirs. The airport was a long time, about 9 hours of waiting. And with that, we're finally home.
So how was the trip, Nate?
All right, well, picture this. You catch a fish and you cook it and you eat it.